Remember the days when dropping your phone meant worrying about breaking the floor, not the screen? In the early 2000s, this specific block of blue and silver plastic was absolutely everywhere, and it was practically indestructible. At its peak, this single company controlled over half of the entire global mobile market. They were a $100 billion titan, releasing dozens of experimental new models every single year. Nokia dominated by mass-producing cheap, reliable physical designs at a scale that absolutely no one else in the world could match. Their phones were available in every corner of the globe, built to withstand years of abuse. But that manufacturing brilliance created a massive internal blind spot. To the engineers in charge, the physical device was the product. The code running inside it was strictly treated as a basic utility, just a way to make the physical buttons work. They had perfected the existing rules of the mobile industry, unaware that the basis of competition was about to be rewritten. The industry changed in 2007. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage in California and introduced the very first iPhone. This device looked nothing like a phone. It lacked a physical keyboard entirely, replacing it with a massive glass touchscreen and a single button. Inside Nokia headquarters, executives actually laughed. When they tested the early iPhone, it failed all of their internal metrics. The battery life was terrible, and the glass shattered easily when dropped. Apple created a software framework that linked users and third-party developers in an accelerating loop, a system that became more valuable with every new app. Nokia stubbornly stuck with Symbian, an aging operating system incredibly difficult to code for, which drove away independent developers. Hardware quality no longer offered a competitive advantage. Consumer value had moved to the software layer, leaving Nokia trapped playing a game that no longer mattered. By 2011, Nokia's market share was plummeting. Desperate to stop the bleeding, the board appointed a new CEO, Stephen Elop. Elop immediately issued the burning platform memo, telling the company they were standing on a fiery oil rig and had to jump into the freezing waters of a complete software overhaul to survive. Nokia could have adopted Android, the open-source software that was actively saving their competitor, Samsung. Instead, they signed an exclusive deal to use Microsoft's Windows Phone operating system. It triggered a collapse. Because developers refused to build apps for the unpopular Windows interface, the ecosystem stayed empty. Without the apps they wanted, consumers simply abandoned the phones. By tying themselves to a restrictive software platform during an era defined by ecosystems, Nokia effectively sealed its own demise. The final fallout arrived in 2013, when Nokia was forced into a fire sale, selling its entire mobile division to Microsoft. This chart shows the destruction of value. A titan that was once valued at over $100 billion was sold for just $7 billion. Their engineers didn't stop building reliable hardware. The company failed because they refused to recognize that the rules of their industry had moved from the physical world to the digital one. Their story is a warning. Past success is a vulnerability. If a company refuses to disrupt its own business model, a competitor eventually will.